Noel, and maybe Patty, if you'll join me in making the opening presentation with the flag and pledge and the oath, that would help.
Sure, not a problem.
Thank you. Patty, I made you a co-host, so you'll be able to bring people in if I get distracted. Okay, 6:05. I'm going to go ahead and we'll open our meeting up. Let's do so with a pledge, oath of our flag, please. Stand and join me in the pledge to our flag. Scout salute. Mute your microphone, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight.
Scout law.
Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Do you want me to do the outdoor code as well?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. Outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manner, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, and be conservation minded.
Thank you. You may be seated. Get rid of that. And chair. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Noel.
Yes, sir.
Always ready to jump in and do extra. I'm going to show the program now and let you see that we do have one planned out. Let's see here. Go here and share screen and there. Okay. We do have Dr. Margot is out of town, actually out of state at a wilderness survival meeting, and he said he'd try to drop in during the the meeting tonight and see if he could get in. We do know that there's some there has been a change that we're going to announce if we see Ida making her way in. Ida Trevino, she's our coordinator for the swimming, the aquatics department, Camp Perry, and she'll have an announcement. If she doesn't make it, I'll make it before the meeting's over. So Dr. Margot, if he comes in, we'll allow him to join too. Just to let you know, if you can see on the screen there is a website, and I'll put it in the chat a little later on, but this is regarding the crisis in Ukraine. There is international support for the Scouts of the Ukraine, and so just this link will take you through the information on that. So I wanted to present that to you. I do not see our new board member, but we're going to introduce him when he comes in. I'm going to go right ahead and introduce a visitor we have tonight from Austin. He is the Territory 7, which is our, used to be region, but now we're in a territory, number 7. He is the venturing coordinator, and his name is John Davenport. John, you'll be able to share the screen if you like. John Davenport. I have to unmute your mic there, sir.
Thank you. So let me, I'm going to blow through this pretty quickly and give you a quick overview. Venturing's taken a hit in your council, and like it has all over the country. COVID just killed our venturing program. It didn't do a lot of good for the Cub Scout program either, but it was especially hard on venturing. Venturing lost 42% last year of all the crews. So really awful. So I wanted to blow through real quickly and give you kind of an overview of what it is for people who aren't really comfortable with it. The first question is, why do venturers love venturing? It's a very different program from what we have in Scout BSA. I'm an assistant scoutmaster for a girls troop. No, I don't have any daughters. I talked people into starting a girls troop. The next thing you know, they'd registered me, my fault. But it's a very different focus. It focuses on 4 real critical things: adventure, leadership, personal growth, and service. It's tailor-made for teenagers. It is really youth-led. We talk about Scout BSA being youth-led, but it's nothing like venturing. It's co-ed, group, and social activities are critical. And if you ask a group of venturers why they belong, they most often say to do cool stuff, to meet new friends. That's really critical. So we hear this a lot. Does venturing steal from Scouts BSA? Absolutely not. In fact, if you hear an adult leader say that, you're probably looking at somebody who's not real well set up to help us retain youth. BSA looked at all the membership data and did an analysis and discovered the average scout is in the program for about 29 months. Those who join venturing are in the program for on average about another 16 and a half months. So it increases the youth tenure by about 57%. That's venturing and Sea Scouts. So those older youth programs really help us keep the youth. So what do venturers do? Everything. The ALPS model for what we do in venturing starts with adventure. It can be anything. Obviously, we're not doing a lot of mountain climbing in the southern half of Texas, but we got an ocean. We got all sorts of stuff we can do. It's really critical. Venturers are going to do things in a crew that pushes their limits, hopefully. They're doing climbing in places that push their comfort level. They're doing all sorts of things. So program focus for crew is also going to have a real critical focus on leadership. Who leads a venturing crew? The venturers. You'll notice that in Scout BSA, our adult leader is called Scout Master. In venturing, our adult leaders are called advisors, and that's really what we do. Personal growth is a big part of what we do. This is a chance for us to help guide youth in those critical areas they're going to need to be adults. And service is a really critical part of what we have them doing, because we expect them to serve and to get in that habit as adults. So how does venturing work in a crew? Most crews are small. 8 to 12 is pretty typical. So this organization chart is pretty typical. Look at the left-hand side. You see some youth roles. Typically, you could have about 5 youth officers, but if you got a crew of 8 people, almost everybody's an officer. So you got a president, some vice presidents. The organizational chart says vice president of administration. A lot of crews don't have that. The adults deal with the administrative issues. The youth have a vice president of communications. That's a more critical issue. Look at the bottom. See this little thing that says activity chair? Every activity a crew does should have a youth who's in charge of it, which means by the end of the year, every youth should have had a role in leadership taking care of an activity. Now, you as an adult, do you have to be an expert in all those things? No. So we get consultants in venturing. Now, if you're certified as a climbing instructor or director, you may be fine dealing with that for climbing, but you may have to find somebody to deal with fly fishing or kayaking or something like that. So we go recruit consultants who can be anybody in scouting, out of scouting, somebody with an expertise. Now, you'll notice that all these youth over here are supported by an adult, an associate advisor, committee members. So we're backing them up as adults. We're coaching them, mentoring them. Coaching and mentoring, all of us wearing wood badge beads should know that term, right? We really use that in venturing a lot. And if you look at the committee side, it looks like a PAC committee or troop committee. That part of it works the same as everything else. So awards are different in venturing. First of all, you need to understand that unlike Scouts BSA, awards aren't a core interest of venturers. They want to do cool stuff and make friends. So you don't see a lot of venturers following up on this. There are 3 kinds of awards. One of them is what would be the equivalent of ranks for Scout BSA. It's called advancement, and it revolves around that adventure, leadership, personal growth, service model. There are also specialty awards. There's one for faith and family. There's one for sports and health. There's one for outdoors. That's what if you look at this picture of my son's uniform years ago, he's got a Ranger bar. Ranger, imagine all the outdoor requirements for Eagle Scout. Now multiply that times 4, And that's about what the Ranger Award is. Very rare. There are also leadership awards. These are ones given by councils, regions. They're different kinds of awards given for leadership, typically in venturing. So you can see there are a lot of choices, so the youth can follow up on what they care about and ignore the things they don't care about. Typically, how do you get youth to follow up on awards? You encourage them to plan a program that through the year gets them to finish a lot of those requirements. It's a lot easier to sit down with a busy high school kid and say, hey, you have 2 requirements left for Pathfinder Award. They'll consider it. But if you say, I have 11 requirements you ought to finish to get this, a kid taking AP classes and doing 2 extracurricular activities in school is going to go, I don't think so. So you have to use stealth to get them to it. So some critical youth training you ought to think about for venturing. Obviously, they have an introduction to leadership skills for crews. In Scout BSA, it's the same. It's the equivalent as ILST. National Youth Leadership Training is really important for venturing. Why? 2 reasons. Number one, they're high school age kids. So they're focusing. That 13-year-old kid who is squeezed in, he's got that same look a squirrel response that most 13-year-olds do. The high school kids are paying attention. They get it. And they make great staff members. In fact, your council is relying on venturers for a lot of your NYLT staff. It's a great activity. The other thing we ought to be encouraging our youth to do in venturing is going to NAIL, National Advanced Youth Leadership Experience. This is a 6-day program. There are 6 of them during the summer at Philmont and 2 at the summit. They don't learn the things they learned at NYLT, they use them. So over 6 days, they take all those things they learned at NYLT. We have the same thing with Philmont Leadership Challenge for adults, for what we learned at Woodbadge. And they use those things they learned at that course outdoors at Philmont. It's an incredible experience. I'm going to skip some of these other things for you, but let's talk about, let's assume that your crews are still dealing with COVID. A good crew ought to be meeting regularly, at least monthly. They ought to hold major activities at least every other month. The youth ought to hold the major leadership roles. The adults are there as support, especially administrative, because obviously in our crew, they have a treasurer, but the adults are managing the bank account. We're the ones making sure they follow the youth protection rules, that they're following the guide to safe scouting. Somebody cares about awards, district council activities. You ought to have venturers leading, supporting activities in your council. Kind of hard when you've got 1 or 2 crews right now, but they ought to have annual planning with some kind of plan for the year. The crew ought to hold introduction to leadership skills for crews. The adults are trained. So that's a real critical difference. Things to think about for venturing when you're registering or rechartering. Venturers are considered participants up until age 21. So when a venturer in a crew turns 18, they fill out an adult application, but the position code is VP, venturing participant. They fill out the adult application, put VP on it, and then pay the youth fee. And then you recharter them as VPs at the youth rate. So who do you go to for help with venturing? Start with your council professional. Your scout executive is amazing. I know it's been a tough year for small councils, including Rio Grande, but your scout executive is amazing. You're really fortunate to have him. He's a great guy. You can always call me, text me, send me an email. The national website that's the most useful is venturing.org. It's part of the scouting.org website, but it's managed by the youth at the national level. So if BSA wants to update their website, it could take them 2 or 3 weeks. In venturing, if the website needs to be updated, it never takes more than 2 or 3 hours. The youth are doing it immediately. So it's a really good system. Remember, a lot of communications, a lot of things are going out over Facebook for adults, Instagram or Snapchat for youth. Remember with venturing especially, you're probably already doing this with troops. It's not a real issue in Cub Scouting. Remember, youth protection applies to social media when we're communicating them. So you've got to have somebody else with you as if you're meeting them in person. And one final note, where should there be a venturing crew? If you've got a place where you've got 2 to 4 Scout BSA or Girl Scout troops, you ought to have a venturing crew. Do you have to have a connection between a troop and a crew? No, but it helps. You can work together on things. it's a great opportunity, and I look forward to being able to help you with crews when you got an opportunity. Just reach out to me. Any questions? Well, thanks so much. Mike, back to you.
Okay, thank you, John. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hang in there, and what we'll do is we'll let the Cub Scouts break out into their breakout room and come back in. I would say, what is it? Come in about 20 minutes. And Joe Rasmussen and Joel Salinger and Patty, if you'll stay, we'll drain Mr. Davenport's brain here a little bit, and then is that okay with you, Noel? To go out to the Cub Scout room? Okay.
That's totally fine.
So I'm going to let you guys go there. The room is open, and jump into it. If you need help, let me know, and I'll get you in there. John, we post this on the YouTube page for our council as a recording, and so during the time that we do breakout rooms, we usually have someone staying with us. We can discuss opportunities and so forth. Hopefully Joel, or Raz and Joel have questions about it. Let me see if I can get these Cub Scouts that are not able to move on their own. Julia, you're with Troop, so you might want to stay here too.
I'm a Cub leader,
Oh, okay.
84, yes.
Okay. Okay, I saw Julia T. I thought Troop. Okay, sorry. Okay. So the ones remaining are possibly related to scouting. Julia, I have sent you an invite. Okay. So Raz, Joel, do y'all have questions that John might answer while we're here? While we got him. I'm sorry, Joel, we can't hear you. Oh man. So, put it in the chat, and we'll go that way. Raz, I see you're on the road. Do you have any questions or have any comments about the unit over in Mission?
I don't have any questions about the unit and Mission. So we have so 1065 operates a troop and a crew, and it's a G unit, it's a girl unit, and when they return 14, they get dual enrolled the crew as for I want to say mostly for advancement, but mostly not for having to redo advancement based off of current policy right now for advancement.
That makes sense.
Like you said, 8 to 12, we're about there. I would say our troops probably 17, 18, but not everybody's in the crew yet. So
That's great for Girls Troop.
Um,
We're beginning to see that phenomenon we have with guys, where the girls are getting a little tired of the routine and they're beginning to gravitate to the crew.
right. Anything else coming down the pipe in terms of changes to the ranking structure in venturing, or maybe so I'm a little older in the sense that I used bronze awards and the other higher level awards. So let me say it this way. There was a clear path how to get Ranger, like you were saying. You got outdoor bronze first, and then you were
That's
halfway
right.
there, and then you were like, well, how do you like that? Do you want to do a little bit more? Okay, yeah, you got Ranger. Now it's
Yeah.
it's quite difficult. Most of my scouts ventures that have even asked about other awards outside of the 4 ranks, they're very confused.
Yeah.
And and like I can tell them anything about the award because I did most of them. But as far as the new,
it seems overwhelming, doesn't it?
it
If you're
like
talking about Ranger, it seems overwhelming unless you've planned a crew program around the Ranger. And you're right, bronze took that out of the equation completely.
you know, and stealth advancement has been part of venturing for a long time. So I'm with you, you know, like, well, guys, what if we all had a discussion about the trail we just hiked on, you know, like, oh, well, you know, actually that's talking about nature and ecology and, you know, some other thing, you know, and that works. But
as an advisor, I would go every month to a Starbucks and meet my crew president. And we talk about how to build that in. So I wanted her, it was almost always her, I don't know why, but I wanted her on my side in that regard. And so we worked together, and once a month I'd go meet her for coffee and we'd talk about how to do that and how to strategize. It's a little difficult since we removed bronze from that equation for Ranger and for the other awards. But the good news is the advancement that replaced it makes more sense. Before, those requirements seemed like they pulled together a whole bunch of stuff from a closet. And they make a little more sense now, but you got to work a little harder to plan around it. And you're right. I've heard of no changes. So far, the response has been pretty positive to the advancement.
Yeah, I think so. I'm just, you know, I just thought you know, I'm sure it's something you're aware of, is that the roadmap has been removed, let's say.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you can't climb the mountain. That just might mean it might take a little longer to get to the mountain.
We used to be able to get a crew to plan their program with some pretty challenging outdoor stuff. And within a year and a half, they had kids making Ranger. And it's harder now because you don't have those shortcuts, and they're not really shortcuts, but you know, they're like stepping stones.
You double up on different things.
Yeah. So it's harder. It's taking most crews that really plan their program to get kids to Ranger, for example. It's taken them a couple of years. You know, some of the difference is Summit Award really is significant now. The old Silver Award that it replaced, it wasn't that significant. It wasn't that challenging. And it is now. You know, the Summit Award project workbook is word for word the same as the Eagle project workbook. Same thing. Same level of challenge. But
you can hypothetically you can earn Summit in approximately 6 months, though.
Yeah, you can. I'm impressed. We had 900 girls in that first 3-month period make Eagle at the 2-year mark. I'm just overwhelmed. We had 900 in the country make Eagle that fast.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. Just different things. You say you recognize my name. So I definitely know your son, GT. Mm-hmm. And then I was in the venturing crew 2010 in San Marcos.
Oh.
With Chelsea Davis.
You know my friend Chelsea, absolutely.
And I was program director of Lost Pines in 2014.
That's right. Chelsea's talked about you. Chelsea and my wife are friends. That's very odd for an adult leader to discover a youth that you worked with is friends with your wife. But yeah. So we don't see a lot of things changing in the program. We think we're coming back around to where we're going to see Venturing Fest started again at the summit, which is like a mini jamboree for venturers. It's a really cool thing. The downside is getting to West Virginia is like getting into heaven. It's possible, but it's really hard. And, you know, from where I am in Austin, it's about a 24-hour drive. That's 24 hours behind the wheel. That's crazy. You know,
I went to Venturing Fest when it was still in Gatlinburg. Mm-hmm. That was when I was back then it was Area 3. I was Area 3 venturing president at the time.
So was that Venturing Fest or was that Winterfest?
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's
Winterfest. Yeah, I never went to that one.
It's the exploring one.
It is, but they've enlarged it so there's more venturing content now.
Okay.
Same thing. But what they're planning to do for the next Jamboree is they're going to have a program for venturers and an area for venturers. So they're going to kind of build in a little venturing fest like area for those going to National Jamboree. National Jamboree is great fun for venturers, but it's not as exciting as it is for 14-year-old boys. Plus, the venturers don't want to be around 14-year-old boys. You know, those of us that raise sons didn't want to be around our 14-year-old kids. So it'll be interesting. We're seeing some of that come out. I don't think the national chain. One of the big differences is the information we're getting online from venturing is going on that venturing.org site, and it's getting up there fast. Those kids correct mistakes within hours. They'll correct a basic mistake that has to do with both venturing and Scout BSA in hours when the National Council is taking weeks to even notice the problem. So there's a big change. The biggest change is the organization. You know, we dropped the areas, we dropped the regions, and now we have these 16 national service territories. That's a big change. And it's really simple. When I was area advisor, I had 3 adult associate advisors, and I had 4 youth officers, and now I have a president and a vice president, and I'm not allowed to have a committee except ad hoc. So, you know, the Churchill Committee made sure we were really, really lean, and it is. My venturing president for our territory is a sophomore at Texas A&M. Her vice president is a sophomore at, no, I'm sorry, she's at UT. Her vice president is at A&M. But the kids at that national level, it's like the kids staffing NAIL. Oh my God, they're the best of NYLT. It's incredible. I'm sorry we don't have more people from Texas going, because, you know, it's close compared to any other major adventure base. You know, it's a day's drive, a little more than a day maybe, to get to Philmont. And that program has been incredible. Almost all of them are venturers.
Excuse me, John. Ruby, what program are you part of? Are you Cub Scout, Scouts, or? The Cub Scouts are in a breakout room. The rest of the folks are here. That's why I'm asking.
Good afternoon, Mr. Henry. This is Ruby from the council.
Oh, hi. You
Well,
represent.
I jumped on because Mr. Gonzalez is having trouble with his connection.
Oh my goodness. I haven't seen him. Have you, Patty? There, Rudy. Okay.
There he is.
There he comes. Thank you, Ruby.
Thank you.
So, Rudy, John Davenport's been with us and giving us a lot of good information. The Cub Scouts are in a breakout room, but everybody else is here. You're muted, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Joel, did you have any questions about? Sorry, we gotta throw your microphone against the wall and shake it up or something to get you where you can talk. If you have a question, please go into the
About now.
chat. Hey,
Now.
try it on. Try it now. You sound like you're working.
Oops.
No.
Now.
Hey,
Can you hear me?
Yes, right there.
Oh,
Don't
you
move.
can. Uh-oh. You're going to want me to mute pretty soon. You know how that is. John, I see that you're from the Austin area, huh?
Yes.
Okay, because I have a brother-in-law who's up there in Lost Pines. His name is Larry Lindsay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my brother-in-law.
Really.
Yes, sir.
Lindsay family has been just massive with our Order of the Arrow.
Oh, yes, he has. The whole lodge is named after
Yeah.
his dad.
Yeah.
Okay. We've been talking about, you know, the venture, that kind of stuff. Concern is recruiting the adult advisors. Are they pretty much trained like all the rest of the adults in scouting, or do they have, is there some special training online to go to?
The leader specific training for advisors, associate advisors, and committee members is all on my.scouting.org.
Good.
Although it's broken up into little bitty pieces. I know that's done for convenience, but it just bores the heck out of me. So if you can find a place that's doing leader specific training, and a lot of councils are still doing stuff online, even though COVID has subsided a little bit because it's so accessible. If somebody can find the training online, do it. It doesn't matter whether it's Southern California or Southern Michigan.
John, you
Sam?
may know our training chairman, Roger Mantoni, out of the north. He's venturing up there and has moved down here with us. I'm sure he has that. He's well placed, but he is venturing. In fact, that's the uniform he wears.
I think Alamo Area Council is doing a day of online training later this spring. A lot of councils are doing a day of training, and the thing to do is just jump on it. But if you've got specific training, or you've got a crew that started and you've got a lot of new leaders, reach out to me. We'll put something on for them. We've got three councils that have new crews or floundering crews that need training. And so we're going to put some things together for them. So you can always reach out to us. By the same token, if you've got a floundering unit, let us know. We'll set up some training. We'll reach out to them. In fact, we can set up with a mentor, an advisor who's got experience that they can work with, a crew president who's got a lot of experience. So, we'd be glad to help if there are issues that need to be resolved. And, we're happy to work as the fire department. If you've got a unit, you're having a tough time because you're a small council that's had some struggles, and we can do things to support you. We're there.
Thank you. Let me just ask a question. How close are they related to the Explorer post and the way they work?
There are similarities, but Explorer posts tend to be a lot more adult-led because the adult leader is the subject matter expert.
Oh, okay.
So, in fact, my son just started as a paramedic in Williamson County, North Boston. He's gainfully employed. He's moved out of the house.
All right.
Yeah, life is
That's a
good.
win for both of you.
Are you kidding?
So-
You lost the tax deduction, man.
Yeah, so it did. That was a problem. But one of the things that they asked him in his interview is, would you consider helping with our Explorer post? And that means he'd be the subject matter expert and the unit leader.
Okay.
Otherwise, we don't really work the same. They're wearing whatever uniform their sponsor wants them to wear. They're kind of different in that respect, but they both operate like an older youth unit. There's not a huge difference in how they work in Sea Scouts.
Okay. I wondered about that.
Technically, they don't answer to BSA, they answer to Learning for Life subsidiary. That way, an emergency service department of a county or a city can say, oh, we're not sponsoring Boy Scouts of America, it's this other organization.
Makes sense.
But like Joe was suggesting, we'll do some big events together when we can, because even if you're an emergency service post, you still want to go outdoors and do fun stuff. So we'll do things with them.
Good.
Well, if you'll let me know when that training comes up in for the adult leaders, I'll make sure Joel knows about it to let his units know.
We're trying to put everything we see on our Territory 7 Venturing Facebook page. Facebook is really being used only by adults. I spoke to an area meeting a couple of years ago, and I said, do you know what youth use Facebook for? To keep up with their grandparents. The room got very quiet. In fact, with venturers, I occasionally have to go on and text a kid and say, hey, look at what I just emailed you, because they're just things I can't attach to a text. It's too hard to work with on the phone.
Right.
But so we're doing a lot of that. We're trying to everybody who has a territory venture Facebook page is trying to put everything they can find that's of help. Because, you know, this, when San Antonio last year did a spring training online, and it was all day Saturday, they had people from, what did they tell me, 40 different councils. I did some work with the Commissioner College in San Houston Area Council, and I had people from 5 councils in my session. So those geographic lines don't matter anymore. Now, I sent in on a training from a bunch of people from the suburb of Boston, and I had a little trouble understanding some of the accents, but they said the same thing about me.
Hey, John, this is Rudy. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Yes, sir.
So what can the Rio Grande Council, our commissioners, our volunteers, the council, how can we, I guess, support the new service territory to make sure that, like you said, we have some small councils in the new service territory that, manpower, financially, we're just small. So what can we do to, partner up and just provide a first quality program for all of our scouts?
My suggestion is take the part of the feet on the ground, because you know where you've got enough units, enough Scout BSA units that you might be able to get a crew going or to reestablish one. Call on us at that point. We can help provide training. We can provide mentoring. We can even have youth mentor other youth. And so let us help you with the follow through once you have that boots on the ground approach with, we've got some people interested in venturing crew. We can help you start that or keep crews going, because you're spread so thin. If you can provide that feet on the ground approach to people and place, we'd be glad to help follow through on that.
Good. Is Roger Bantoni on?
No.
Roger, are
he's
you on?
not. No, he's
Okay.
not.
So one of the things that Roger's been helping with, and this is with some of the more of the troops, he's been helping them with troop committee training. Because some of our troops have a lot of manpower, but they weren't helping at the committee level. And so he's gone in there and trained the parents and the leaders on how the committee works. I think if we had something where y'all were helping us, with the new venture crews, maybe via Zoom, or maybe on a weekend, on a Saturday, you come down, we'll treat you to some good tacos and some good food down here, and just bring all the new leaders and say, hey, on this day, we want you to invite all the parents and all the leaders so they come and learn how a committee operates.
We'd love to do that. Absolutely.
Idea.
Yeah, my youth officers are brainstorming on what they can package in short, easy to access learning. But if you've got a unit that has an opportunity like that, I'd love to. You guys aren't that far south from me.
Yeah, but you've been down here, so I think it's been a while since you've been down here. You can kind of come look at the improvements at camp.
Oh, the pictures have been amazing. And honestly, most of where we're going, most of our territory, we're kind of spread out because I have all of Louisiana now, but small councils are dealing with the very same issues right now. If they have a crew that gets into trouble, your professionals are spread so thin, you can see through them. It's tough. So we'd be happy to step in where we can. And, if we can do training via Zoom, figure a Saturday that we've got enough people, it's worth the trip. We'd love to do that. And at the same time, I've got a group of people that I can call on that have venturing experience in Alamo area, my council, Shack especially, who are willing, if their calendars work, willing to hit the road and do something like that.
So are you up in the Austin or the Houston area now?
I'm in Austin. I'm just northwest of Austin.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. So that's good.
In fact, John Yates' kids have been in my crew.
Good. Well, that's good to know that we have that, because we are down to a few venture crews. Yeah. And so, once some of the school districts opened up, then, that's gonna be an area that we know we can grow quickly.
Yeah.
And so that'll be one of the focus. And I know the Harlingen School District, which is where the home council office is.
Yeah.
One of the volunteers that is a scouting volunteer is now in charge of all the parent engagement for the school district. And we had a conversation. He wants to start some units in all the schools, elementary, middle schools, and high schools. And so venturing will be a good program for a lot of our high schools here in the area. The only thing right now, they're still not letting outside groups in, but as soon as they open up the facilities, and then they're interested in council-sponsored units.
That's great.
Because they did have a concern about them sponsoring the units through the district, because they just didn't want to get caught up on any legal issues. So I reminded him that now the council is able to charter units, and all we need is a safe place to meet.
That's great. I got a teacher who had a mapping program, and I gave her the addresses of the charter organizations for all of the Scout BSA troops in the council and all the crews, and got a map created that showed me where there were clusters of troops, but no crews. And that gave us a starting point. Unfortunately, COVID hit about that time, and with COVID in the schools, I couldn't start venturing crews. So hopefully as things ease up a little bit, we can get back to looking at them, because it's hard. But if we can do something long distance, provide training, coaching, and really, I think the idea of new advisors and pairing them with somebody who acts as a mentor to them could be effective.
Well, if people can earn their bachelor's and their master's and PhD online, I'm pretty sure that we can train parents on how to be leaders for our scouting units.
Oh yeah, and we've got resources to pull from the National Venturing Committee, from other councils that have done some good stuff, and we can go steal great ideas from anywhere in the country if we need to.
Good. Now, on the new system, the new computer system that we're using for advancement, any heads up on any glitches there? Because we're dealing with some glitches at the Cub Scout level, the venturing level, the Boy Scout level, or the Scouts BSA level. Is there anything that you're aware of at the venturing level of glitches within the the Scout book, and where we go in and input information that you want to let us know?
I know that initially some of the information, some of the structure of venturing in Scout book was wrong. The last I heard, and it's been a couple of months, is that they said it had been corrected.
Okay, well, that's good to know, because if we have any issues with some of our units, and we can let them know, hey, they're working on it, or we'll check with National, see if it's been resolved.
If you find out of specifics, let me know, because I know the youth who are really technologically advanced, who are on the National Venturing Committee, are all over that. They're incredibly impatient with the IT people at BSA headquarters, and there can't be more than 2 or 3 of them left. They're really impatient over how long it takes up there, because they're really the venturing.org website content is corrected in hours. They're college kids. Their schedule's different.
Well, I think that on that note, we did have a leader in one of the venturing leaders emailed me, said, hey, Rudy, we have more Summit Award recipients than what the venturing.org page is showing. And can you go in there and change it? And I let her know. I said, ma'am, I don't control it, but I'll ask to see who's in control of that.
If you'll share it with me, I'll send it to the kid who's the vice president for communications. Steven Soto has a team that is doing the website stuff, and BSA lets them go directly and change those. So let me know. I can pass it on, and they'll respond. Yep,
I'll have her, because she texted me, but I'll have her send me an email, and then I'll forward that to you.
Bueno, sounds good.
Yep. Mike, are we still in the breakouts?
They just came back. I still looking for Andrew Phillips. I haven't seen him come in. Have you heard from him?
Let me text him.
I emailed him. So, guys, John was kind enough to take his time to be with us today, and we want to say thank you. Appreciate all the great advice. And again, every month we do this, so you're welcome if you have time. And I realize you're a busy guy, but your support is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And if you've got anything I can help you with, let me know. I'm gonna drop off now.
Okay, well,
Thanks
thank
so
you
much.
very much. See you next time. While we're waiting to see if we can get Joseph Andrew Phillips online here, let's go back to the agenda and see where we stand. Patty, I know it's been kind of wild tonight. Do you have a wild roundtable attendance announcement?
Oh, yes, I do have it. And you won't believe it. The winners for the Chachos Award this month is again PAC 500.
Ah, change their number.
Yeah, they're very loyal. Congratulations. I think you're gonna stick to that walking stick again. Congratulations.
I thought I had the Chachalaka sound ready to go, but it's not there anymore. So,
Is there a little mini walking stick for the counselor or person that they go see every single time? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Or maybe a little mini Chacho and Chacha.
Yes, we need to go check that. But thank you, PAC 500, for being so responsible and attending our roundtables.
Yes, thank you, guys.
do you have a good breakout room, Noel?
Yes, it was really good. I got a lot of feedback, and hopefully a Nova counselor that'll help us out for our Cub Adventure that we're planning for the spring. So anytime we get leaders helping out, that's always a great plus on my book. So
one thing that I wanted to point out to the group, this is mostly Boy Scout related, but the citizenship in the society merit badge, I'll be sending out an email, a MailChimp, and put it on Facebook about the requirements for the pending the new merit badge. It's still a extra merit badge, optional merit badge, and will become effective the 1st of July as a Eagle required merit badge. This page here, and I'll attach it to the chat, has the Scout requirements, the counselor guidelines. There is no booklet, like merit badge booklet, like the ones in the for the other merit badges. The DEI volunteer training is online. The counselor guide is available. This is a PDF for the citizenship merit badge counselor guide PDF. There are also videos of the merit badge counselor video and the general information video you can present in your unit as well. So this will be attached to the chat in just a moment. For the this will come up in just a moment. Let me go to here and get to the right one here. This is the video. The webinar last night for Cub Scout recruiting, if you have your phone handy and can scan this barcode, it'll take you to the website where the webinar for Cub Scout recruiting that took place last night, the national webinar will be on this page, and there's lots of other Cub Scout related videos on this page, www.scouting.org/recruitment. And you'll see a lot of information available on that for your benefit. They want you to do a safety moment, and they're available on this page, health and safety moments. Over on average, 36,000 injuries related to bunk beds occur in the United States annually. That's just bunk beds. So it sounded like it was may not have been a interesting one, but when you start with 36,000 injuries a year, that's a pretty good safety moment to put out. And there's lots and lots of them on this particular page.
Mr. Henry, I see the citizenship in the.
Okay, let me change that then. Sorry, let me do a new share here. And
Hey, Mike, Dr. Phillips is on the waiting room.
Oh, okay. All
There
right.
we go.
Okay. Wow. Okay, there's several in there. Dr. Margot's there too. Okay. Okay, they should be coming in. So anyway, the resources there for the safety moments are really good to have. Every meeting you have, you should have a safety moment. And again, there's just a lot of information out there. Let me stop right now and go back to the screen here, and I'm going to do an introduction here for an individual that is a great. I'm so happy to see him back in the Valley, and don't know. Oh, there he is. Okay, he's in his car. He's traveling. All right. So, Dr. Andrew Phillips.
Sorry, multitasking.
All right. Andrew Phillips is a Valley native, born and raised in Mission, who is returning to the RGV as an ER and ICU physician after completing residency and fellowship at Stanford University and serving as faculty at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Dr. Phillips, and it's really funny calling him Dr. Phillips. I know him as Andrew for years. Has continued to research and publish in the field of medical education and practices in both McAllen and Rio Grande City. He earned his Eagle in Troop 7 in McAllen and is a former lodge and section chief in the Order of the Arrow. Joining him in the move to is his wife, Clara, and his two children, Luke and Sophia. And just real quickly, Joe, Andrew was we had a resident camps many years ago for the Cub Scouts, and I still remember Andrew, and I think it was Ross Troutman riding around in the Indian outfits entertaining the Cub Scouts, and it rained like the Dickens, and they were just really instrumental in having a great resident camp. So I'm going to give the view over to Joe, to Andrew rather. I keep calling you Joe. I know that's your father. And here we go, Andrew.
Well, it's so great to be back. Thank you, Mr. Mike. And I still know you as Mr. Mike as well. It's so great to be back in the Rio Grande Council in Guatemala. It's home, and I'm grateful to be a part of the board and to meet everybody. And I love how the council and the Valley have grown up and changed, and just I'm pleased to be a part of it. So, thank you for welcoming me back.
And what position are you going to be on the board?
VP program.
Program. All right. So we're going to put you to work.
Yes, I love it. The service of spirit of service.
There you go. Also, Andrew, we usually try to get a report from Dr. Margot, and I believe he's here. Dr. Margot, are you online?
Sent me a text, I think so. Or you put a chat in there.
Andrew, okay. Dr. Margot, are you able to talk with us about what's going on, or you can't unmute? Okay.
He's about to catch a flight.
Oh, okay. He's in an airport. Okay. All right. Well, Rudy, do you have any additional comments? I know we have to drop off real quick and go to another meeting.
No, I just want to welcome, formally welcome Dr. Phillips. You know, I think he's be a great addition with all the different activities and all the different chairmen. You know, he's there to help out. And so we're going to have a meeting with all the different chairs and people that help with program within the council. So be expecting an invite to that meeting, and we'll go more into detail on how he's going to help and how he's going to support our volunteers at the run all the council events and everything that we do in program related to our council. So welcome on board, Dr. Phillips, and everyone that's on here. Thank you for being on here. There's a lot of things going on, and with Mike Henry in charge of communicating, he'll keep us in the loop of what's going on, and he's working with other volunteers to help us bring marketing and PR and images and social platforms to all of our families and all of our scouts, and share information with all of us. So Mike, thank you for what you're doing to help us all communicate better.
Thank you. I just want to encourage everybody, if you have not signed up for the MailChimp newsletter, go to the bottom of the homepage or at the top and sign up. Make sure you are on the MailChimp mailing so that you get the latest information we can get out for you. And there are some announcements that are coming up that we need to get out. And so just be aware that there is some announcements coming out, and but we had to kind of scoot off now. I'm sorry that we had to cut it short this time, but we do need to be in another meeting. And I want to say thank you all. Liz, anybody else have any last minute comments before we go? Welcome, Andrew. We're so happy to see you. And Noel, thank you so much for the breakout room. And good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Bye, everyone.